6:41 p.m. I'd like to open the meeting for the Charter Commission. Roll call, Frank Allen, not present. Nancy Brandt.
Present.
Steve Ross.
Present.
Lori Anthony, not present. Maria Gagne, I am present. Mr. Woodsum.
Yep.
Dave Barker.
Yep.
Needy Malloy, not here. All right, so item C, line 1, review articles 1, 2, and 3. Everyone should have those in front of them. And I believe that most of the stuff that we had discussed previously is crossed out a little bit. Obviously, we'd like to go through, talk about it some more if anyone would like to. I see that Nancy went through and obviously crossed out annual town meetings, since we aren't be doing annual town meetings anymore, as we previously discussed. They are out we do have your typical referendum vote. I'm assuming everyone's on the same page with that, especially after speaking to Natalie. Are there any other comments by anyone on that? Or in
Under section
202,
202,
yep.
I make a motion that the board recommends take the annual name out of 3 different sections of 202. And it should read warrant of town meeting, not annual town meeting. Anything that says annual town meeting, take the annual out.
Second that.
Everyone in favor?
Somebody's supposed to be coming in? Somebody's out here.
It may just be Laura Fish leaving.
Oh, okay. I just can't hear.
No, you're fine. All right, all in favor for that? Unanimous. All right, section 204. The voters failed to approve any budget warrant articles required by law. Board shall call as provided by law for such further town meetings and are required to address the same, provided that any such special town meeting shall be conducted solely as an open floor town meeting and not by referendum voting. Obviously, open floor town meeting and not has been crossed out. I know Natalie had initially discussed, we're not really doing town meetings, so should we be crossing out town meeting in this article as well?
Yes, we
Okay.
probably should,
Well,
we should have done it through the whole
Through the whole,
the whole.
charter.
yeah,
See, because what I was looking at, especially like on 201, the majority of that can go right out if we just left the legislative authority of the town shall be vested in the whatever, if it's going to be select board or town council. And the rest of it can go because it all goes right with the town meeting.
yeah.
But
That's
then,
true.
yeah, 202 and 203 are just town meetings, so that could, and what I had for on 204 is, what if, like, a referendum vote is required for the following actions, and it goes down through
Yep,
the different actions. So if we just changed, instead of a town meeting, it could be a referendum vote is required for the following actions.
I mean, it is what we're doing, so
Right.
I would say, yeah.
That's what
absolutely.
we're doing now.
Okay, so we'll cross that out.
So we're gonna cross out all 201 and 202?
Well, I think he's referring.
Just 201, I had just leave the first sentence of
Okay,
the legislative authority of the town shall be vested in the
by the Board of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen, or whatever we change the Board of Selectmen to be, would reflect on that, those 3 words only.
Yep, and then take the rest of it.
Then
out.
the rest can just go away because it all has to deal with articles going up for town meeting. But yeah, 202 and 203 are just town meeting only. There's nothing that associates with a referendum vote or anything of that sort.
Yep. So I know Dwayne had motioned,
I'll take my motion back if the board seconded it. Want to pull that back and we can change the whole thing.
just going forward.
Yeah, going forward, I mean, there's a word for it, but, do away with my motion completely.
So, okay, so, yes, I understand what you're saying.
Because if you're gonna do away with town meeting,
Or-
it needs to say referendum vote, I guess, because
Right.
you don't have a town meeting
Right.
anymore, yeah. And I agree there, I mean, town meeting is gone.
So,
Other than the referendum, is that considered a town meeting?
yeah. So essentially abolish the town meeting language
Yeah.
throughout the entire charter.
Yeah,
And obviously, as we go along, we just go, oh, it's there, cross it out, fine tune it.
yeah.
Like, is that your new motion?
Yeah, you can just make the motion to go forward. and
To
you
go-
can-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyone
I'll
want
make
to,
that motion.
anyone want a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor or opposed? Sorry, I'm going through the original of what you sent Nancy,
that's okay.
and I'm also looking at the,
I got them both pulled up here.
I got, oh yeah, I got the cross out. Okay,
Well, if you wanted to, what I've done here, no, the highlighting
Yeah.
didn't come out good, but if you
but no, I
want,
I see what you're doing, yeah.
but if you want a copy of this, you can copy these off,
Yeah, I'm gonna take copies when we're done.
okay?
Yeah, I might take them too.
Okay, so it's section
So in
202
section
and
202, the only change then is the elimination of annual.
And then the town, yes, the annual town meeting in that language, because we no
Yeah, 'cause
longer have
202
town meetings, yeah.
Right, 202 is just only talks about
Town,
having a town meeting.
yeah,
So that's gone,
that,
so,
exactly.
right, we can take that right out completely.
202 is gonna be taken out completely.
Right, and what about the special town meeting?
It's easy.
So, I mean, special town meeting, that's obviously, that's the thing, because it does talk about the board will be allowed with a unanimous vote or below. I think something we need to look at is, the board will be allowed with a unanimous vote to add additional articles to the warrant up to 30 days prior to the town meeting. Because that's in the charter, even though we don't have a town meeting, I believe that number still stays true for referendum. So the question goes out, do we have a section just regarding what time frame is the board allotted for putting new articles on that warrant for the referendum vote?
Okay.
Does that make
Yes,
sense?
Yeah, and I think the 60 days covers that.
Correct. So that's the part we want to keep, but just, again, fix the language of town meeting to prior days to, you know, you put referendum or annual municipal election, whichever you guys.
And realistically, you can have a money article in November, so.
You can.
But it's still gotta meet the 60-day prior to the November vote.
Yeah,
And if you need a special election.
It's a whole-
Well, no, but there's cases where you might have to have a special election if somebody, if a board of selectmen or two board of selectmen or even three disappeared or something happened,
yeah.
you've got two choices, either run it to the next election or hold a special election, and it's gotta be, there's a timeline there.
And I think that even has interpretation for change contingent on how this commission moves forward. If it's council-based, I think there would be that potential and opportunity where in the interim, you could actually appoint someone to replace a board member, providing, and they would go out the term. The length of that
I think
term.
we went through that, but I don't think you can do that to a selectman.
Not to, it would be if this went forward
Right.
to exactly.
Town manager or town administrator, yes, because the townspeople don't hire.
Yeah,
But board of selectmen are voted on, anything that's voted on is gonna go back out to the townspeople to be voted on. School board is something altogether different, which the board of selectmen have the right to appoint, but there's legislature involved in that. The whole different ballgame. There's some legislation governing the school board.
yeah. Okay, so we're all in agreement though for section 202, with the exception of when it comes specifically to warrant articles. Obviously, those timeframes need to stay in the charter, but just fix the language of annual town meeting to what it needs to be.
The last, where it starts the warrant of, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th sentence down, leave in the warrant
Yes.
of town meeting down.
Well, we would need to keep that in.
The warrant of town meeting shall be closed to the insertion of money and non-money articles 60 days.
Yep,
And a town meeting and the board will be allowed with a unanimous vote to add additional articles to the warrant up to 30 days.
yeah, and
Okay, we'll
and I
leave that in.
actually would wanna, if we could make a notation too, Nancy, on the 30-day aspect. For Natalie, and I only say that because technically by 30 days, I need to have ballots.
You have to have the absentees.
So if that number, we have the opportunity to change that to help out whoever's in that position as a clerk, I think it'd be prudent to search that avenue and ask Natalie as we get finalized.
And Natalie touched a little bit on it the other night. Somewhere it should read, to meet state legislation.
Yes, because we had discussed that,
Yeah.
and you're right, we
Yes.
had brought
There's
that.
somewhere in the end, 2 or 3 times, we need to add in there that it's gonna meet the state
Whatever current state,
current status.
timeframe is. So
Time.
whatever their
Whatever current-
timeframe is at
If
the
they
state
change-
level.
If they change it, then we gotta go back and change the charter in order to be, and.
Exactly.
In compliance
If we-
with the state.
If we've got that little line in there saying that it's, the charter is to meet the state certifications, then it takes care of that, no matter what we got for dates.
Right.
So, I mean, it can be not super sloppy, but at least Natalie knows to follow state time frame in regards to that.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, their timeframe's different when it comes to adding articles. There's a deadline because they need to have their ballots out. So I think it'd be, it'd be in our best interest to look at what those deadlines are.
Yep.
And again, they're probably more than likely a lot better than this very small 30-day time frame that we have here. So like Dwayne said, and as we discussed the other day, to follow state.
State regulations.
Yeah.
Statutes.
Do I have a motion on that change from anyone?
so moved.
I was waiting for him to say that.
Seconded.
All right.
All right, so we're just keeping in what I read, and then I put beside it a note to work with Attorney Burns to meet current state timeframe.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now I think we can definitely go down to the 204.
Okay.
As far as 204 goes, in the last sentence, town meeting shall be conducted solely and take out as an open floor town meeting
Yeah.
and just read solely by referendum voted.
And then, of course, anything town meeting will be switched.
Oh. If the voters fail, you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I already had that crossed out.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to find myself. Oh, yeah, I'm in Maine, right.
Recommend town procedure.
I'm not
Okay.
going to work tonight. Oh, maybe.
Was that your motion to
Yes.
update that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone would like to second?
I'll second
All
that.
right, Dwayne, second.
Now, where are the,
All in favor? Do we all, or did I?
Not yet. No,
Okay.
sorry, I was going to say,
I have a question here.
sure, okay, sure.
Where, see if I can remember my question now. Where are the,
It's on the next page.
Stuff that's on the next-
On page 3. What he's talking about is this line in here.
yeah, okay. All right, I guess I don't have a question.
All right, so the original motion by Dwayne, seconded by Dave, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, I see that you noted that Natalie recommended to have procedures for referendum vote and should be specified. I think we all agreed to that last vote, and obviously we'll fine tune that as we get further down. So, Article 3, Selectmen or Council. I think most of us were here when Natalie expressed we're essentially a council form of government at this point. I mean, please, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I do recall her kind of stating that.
Yeah, because she says it's technically a council description that's in current
Correct.
charter.
Yep. So, I mean, for Article 3,
That was a big question with her, I
Yeah.
think, was,
Oh, so we're
do you
moving
leave
on
it as
to 3
select,
already?
do you leave it as select body, or do you change it to council?
About 206, 207.
Oh, yeah, we gotta remove that, you're right. We gotta remove 202, abolishing town meeting, right?
yep,
So we're gonna have to vote on that one.
I think that was part of Dwayne's motion.
Oh, okay.
Was
you're
to
right.
get rid of town meeting,
We
but
did.
to keep,
Yep.
no, you're fine, Nancy, but we just need to find a way, to just reference the warrant articles in the time frame for the referendum.
So like 208, the moderator that is the moderator over the annual town meeting, that's gone, that can just go. But like 209, clerk of town meeting, which would be you,
Yeah,
the town clerk or deputy shall be the warrant of, instead of town hall, referendum vote, he shall oversee the balloting and preserve the public records, all proceeds of the referendum votes. See, so that would have to, 209 would have to actually stay in there, just
Yep.
change the wording.
sorry, I'm going back up too. So, 205 is essentially fine, because there's nothing to touch on that, absentees. Sorry, I'm just keeping up. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything before we skip to the two. I get what you're saying though, like, to go
Right.
back.
Right, but that would cover the town of the
Correct.
rules of what, the state could look at and say, well, we've covered what needs to be done during an election.
Correct.
Because I think like 210 and 211, those are both just town meeting things, and they can go into the waste can.
I mean, I would agree in the sense of, if we're not having a town meeting, it's referendum vote, yes, it is.
Right.
I would,
And you were saying section 212 can go because we've already abolished it, correct?
well, and that's the thing right here, but there's other, shall call a public hearing. I mean, and that was, I think, another thing that Natalie had talked about too, was section 212. We don't need it because we don't have a town meeting.
Right, we've already abolished it, so that can go away.
So, did you wanna just, where you're bringing this up, Dave, did you wanna just make one streamlined motion for the sections you're referring to?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we abolish section 208, 210, 211, and 212.
Okay, anyone second?
I'll second it.
Nancy second. Alright, and what's everyone on that one, all in favor?
I'm not against, I just
You're
don't
up.
have it here.
Oh, that's in, yeah,
That's in the
that's, you
original,
just have this,
booklet.
this was the actual, charter itself.
I have,
Yeah,
I don't know if I probably made notes on this, but.
I photocopied.
So
it
here,
off.
if you'd like, Steve, I'll show you. So
Steve,
he's referring.
I have this one, but I didn't make notes on it, but.
Okay, so he's referring to 208, 210, 211, 212. So 208 refers to a moderator
Yeah,
with the main moderator's manual published
yeah, that's standard.
because it has to do with the annual town meeting. 208, 210, procedure and conduct of town meeting. This is all about town meeting, where we recently motioned to get rid of that because we are no longer a town meeting or go to referendum vote.
Yeah, I do
There
it the
technically
right
would be no need for
You talking
section
yourself again?
210.
Oh, yeah.
211 restrictions, again, it's all
I went
about
through all
town
this
meeting,
on the
not
computer
authorized to
when
vote
it
on
came out.
matters,
I didn't
appointments
think
of officers and
some of you
members
can't
of
really
commissions
see
or
what's behind it.
boards.
So,
Again,
whoops.
it's very similar to up
Wrong color.
above. This is a restriction regarding town meeting. We are no longer a town meeting, we're referendum vote. And then 202, 212, I apologize, is all about abolishing the town meeting, which is pointless because we aren't a town meeting anymore, we've already done it.
Yep.
So to get rid of that section as well in the
You
charter.
got one section in there that you're gonna have to create, and that's on moderator. You're gonna have to create a section for just choosing a moderator
Yeah.
to oversee the referendum
Mhm.
and the town vote.
Yeah.
That doesn't fall under the town clerk?
Not as far as the moderator goes, I don't.
Okay,
Moderator oversees the whole meeting.
all right.
Even though the town clerk is overseeing the running of it, you still gotta have a moderator to oversee everything.
I think the
So-
moderator has to be elected, too.
Moderator has to be chosen
So,
by the townspeople
yes.
before the meeting starts.
Yeah.
So where we're not having, and I guess this is something I can definitely reach out to Natalie regarding too, and so for example, it mentions me being the warden. However, I also have to go forward and appoint another warden, which has been Rebecca Higgins. I could always go back and double check with Natalie, where we no longer have a town meeting, if there's something else that we would have aside from, not necessarily not have a moderator, but would it be just another warden?
Right.
Overseeing.
Yeah,
So it, more so the language of it, and how does that work? If that's the case, and we change stuff, would would the board or the council be electing a warden and or approving a warden again? Or is that something that someone should be pulling papers on and should be getting voted on?
Yeah, we need to check in on that.
yeah.
I thought moderator was always just for
Town meeting.
the town meeting.
And
Which,
Do you have one for when you have an election too? So you have a time, so if you have state, you have a warden and a moderator?
so for state, I have my warden, which is Rebecca. For the local, we have the moderator.
So, could we put in the town clerk, a deputy shall be the warden of, that ain't gonna work, I would say, of state referendum elections, and a moderator shall be elected for No, yeah, moderator shall be
Moderator was
elected.
always elected the morning
Mo-
of.
The morning
but
of,
we-
correct.
We
Yeah.
always,
Prior to.
somebody made sure that somebody was willing to, and I've seen times when you'd have two that was willing to do it, and you'd have to have a runoff the morning of.
So I'm wondering if we reach out to
Those were back in
Natalie
the other
Yeah,
days.
I'll check it out on that, Beth.
Right.
to see if that's something we still need to have. And I'm only thinking of past experience I've had elsewhere where I may not have just been there to see this occur, but I don't recall it occurring.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if there's another avenue contingent on what gets decided on that we do, whether that be, okay, we can have X amount of wardens, and right now they're appointed by the board if someone comes forward and we have interest in it, and it's done every year, or if it's something that someone would run for, pull papers for.
Well, yeah, and you may have more than one warden or more than one moderator, because if for some reason we go to two different voting buildings,
Well, I
then
hope
you gotta
we
have
don't.
we gotta have two moderators or wardens, one
Right,
for
so
each
you-
building. So-
Right, then we'd have town clerk, and a deputy in the other spot.
But you also gotta have a moderator or a warden.
Warden at
Warden
each one.
in each spot
Yeah,
as
and I
well.
don't know the correct wording, whether it's a moderator or a warden. So-
And I will say, if we have the opportunity to have more than one warden, I don't necessarily think that'd be a bad thing. I love Rebecca, and she does a fantastic job.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering if we could have again, this is something we'd have to discuss with Natalie, but is there a head warden and then you have other wardens?
Deputy
Dep-
wardens.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's, at one point, the moderator had to be in the building at all times.
Yeah.
And I'm going back into your days, but whoever took that job was in for a long day.
Yeah.
He had to be here
From
the
7
start
to
of the
8.
7 o'clock, and he had to stay till the last ballot was counted.
Right.
And he had to approve that final vote when it was all said and done, before they went home.
Yeah. So, I guess rather than, I know your motion was to take away from section 208, we can always circumvent back to that one, because I would like to reach out to Natalie regarding this.
Right, yeah,
Because if
find
there's
out.
something that's more efficient that we
Yeah.
can put in place, then obviously that'd be advantageous to the town.
I'll put the same note on that one that I did on the clerk of town meeting, so it will.
Yeah. Okay. So I know your original motion was to get rid of 208, Dave, however, after further discussion.
Well, we haven't voted on it, so you can just amend it, then I
Yeah,
can.
I'll amend it to
Okay.
hold off on 208. I'll
Okay.
amend my motion to hold off on 208 until we talk with the town attorney.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
And you'll second it, Nancy, perfect. All right, all in favor? Unanimous? You had your hand up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, 212. So now we're on Article 3, Board of Selectmen, or Select Board. And again, the question was, right off the bat, on charter amendments that Nancy had done, is this going to be a select board or a council? I wasn't sure if anyone had a discussion on it.
Well, my honest opinion there is that it's already set up as a town council. It's not a select board anymore. That was changed in the last commission. And me, I'm one that would just be open and forward to the townspeople of it should be named for what it is, so they understand, which would change all the select board members to councilmen.
The only thing I got on that is when you go to the town council, are you going to break this town up
Into wards.
different wardens or different sections of town? And you gotta try to find somebody from each section?
No, I don't think you have to.
Well, what we had talked about in the charter, or the 2020 comprehensive plan, is that they could be councilmen at large, which would cover any section of town.
Yeah.
I think that would be the better way to go, because you are right, trying to find a councilman.
Someone to represent
Well,
that specific
Gray's in the
district.
middle of this over there, and they broke it up into
Right, they
different
broke
sections,
theirs
and
up.
now they haven't got councilmen enough to run, and
Right,
they wanna go back and change that charter again, because
You can't find.
they had selectmen and a town, that had gone to town manager.
right.
We wrote this under Gray's.
Right, yeah, and
guidelines,
I've looked at Gray's charter, and it's like, wow, they really,
They went overboard and didn't realize.
and they've gone right in circles.
Yeah,
They've
And-
gone- But yeah, I feel on that, if we go at councilman at
At
large,
large, you're saving yourself for potential catastrophe with not finding someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Right.
you.
well, you look at what you got right now.
Well,
And,
and that's the
right, you're
thing.
mostly all from two sections of
yeah.
town.
I mean, I appreciate the idea if, providing you had, like, you know, you guys had discussed, the ambition from people to come run. Because personally, I like knowing that you may have a voice from certain wards or certain areas of town
Right,
to be represented. But again, if you're not going to have those people come out in droves and pull papers,
and then you go
you could-
unrepresented.
you have
And
one representative,
I
exactly.
guess I would say that if I'm representing the town of Waterboro, even though somebody's up on the West Road that's got a problem,
You're representing.
I'm gonna
You're gonna
represent
represent-
them as well
absolutely.
as somebody that's up on the Clark's Bridge Road or Middle Road.
Right, that's
You know.
what you guys have been doing now
Yeah.
anyway, so.
So I apologize, I do have a question. I'd like to
Yeah.
pick your guys' brains. So if, let's say, we agree to go forward on council, right now you have a chair, a vice chair, and a chair. How would it be, going forward, would it be referred to as council chair or council president? I mean, again, language is different, but it can sometimes mean different
I
things.
guess it would be council chair,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, if you
And
keep
it-
it as council chair, it'd be the same as a president, but a council chair would have the same authority that the select board member chair has now.
Now, yeah.
Without changing everything.
Yeah.
But just if we go to, so I think that the people would understand better of how the form of government is working, if any of them wake up enough to really take a look. But I still think that's just my opinion, that,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not one to,
And I just
I
wanted to
think-
bring it up just to
Right.
make sure we covered that.
right.
Yes, 'cause
I
Exactly.
think,
And yeah, I think Dennis had mentioned it in that
I think
meeting
we ought to
too.
postpone this one as far as a vote. I mean, we can vote tonight, but I would want to have an open meeting we've got
Couple
at
of the
least one active
regulars.
member that
Yeah,
Yeah, we
isn't here
could
because
hold
of the
off.
holidays, but hold off a little bit on that one. And
absolutely.
So we can put it on next agenda?
Absolutely, we can put it on the next
So,
agenda. In
uh,
referencing the Article 3 Selectmen or Council, and obviously anything under that.
I think 5 is plenty because trying to find 7 is
Yeah,
asking a lot. but
yeah,
When you get up to 12,000 or so,
then you would want to add on the
you
couple.
may want to add on a couple
And-
more, but.
I do just want to say, we are somewhat on the cusp, we're not quite there. I don't believe the last census was accurate, and I know Matt and I have had those conversations. I would say we're around a population regularly of 10,000, not just in the summer months, but our regular population.
I would say I know of, I won't say exactly who, but I know of quite a few families that no paperwork,
Yeah.
no online, no nothing, don't exist.
And I guess in regards to your comment about once we hit 12,000, just,
Yeah.
I know that's not a definitive.
No,
If
I'm-
there's something we could put in here that, you know, as the town grows, it'll be expected to add on another body per X amount of people in population. And I don't know if you guys wanna even get
Well,
that
like,
far.
It'd have to be an odd number.
It's gotta be an odd number, so.
Yep, so the
um,
two,
But I guess somehow you'd have to get to Natalie, and word that as the population changes, I don't know that you'd wanna go to 12,000, but probably 15, because you're talking 10 years down the line.
yeah,
But
versus maybe a few.
somewhere in this charter, we've got the right to say that this hasn't got to be checked in 10 years.
Yeah, well, and you're right, she
You
did
can-
say that.
You can, somewhere it can be put in there that you've got the right to, but you don't have
Have
to.
to.
But the public has the right to request
To
it.
request.
But I don't know if that is through petition. She didn't get,
It would be through petition,
Yeah.
yeah, they would have to petition it. My concern is, just while we're on the topic, if population grew, and we don't need to have charter review changes, but let's say the amount of sitting members should change to reflect. I'd rather have something, I personally would prefer to have something put in here if possible, and if Natalie thinks it's appropriate.
Yeah,
So that way, whoever's here in the future isn't in this like conundrum of, oh, we have to have a charter revision and do everything that follows that revision just for something like that. So again, I can certainly reach out to Natalie regarding that, if you guys would like, and we can discuss it again at another time. Sorry, I'm like, I already lost my mind. So is there any other discussion by anyone on that? Or is everyone okay just with me checking with Natalie?
No, but the only other thing I saw within this one is just the wording of, you know, annual town meeting.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen, those words will be changed.
Have to be changed, yeah.
All right, will be changed as the other parts change.
and there
Ah.
again,
So, oh, sorry,
Oh.
wait.
Article 3E, there again, that should be whatever the state requires for days.
All right, so under Article, I'm sorry, so section 304, item E, inquire into the conduct of any office?
303,
Oh, I'm sorry,
E.
303. Okay, now, so is that your motion?
Yeah.
Anyone want to second that?
That's just a follow-up of the days and state law.
so this is, I'm sorry, I was
No, you're
thinking
fine.
about it, the nomination papers?
Yes.
It's gonna be per
For state law.
state law?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And 305 is the same thing.
So it'll be as required per state law?
yes.
Yes. Yep.
Do they want to second that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Everybody, all in favor? Unanimous. And sorry, I'm kind of skimming ahead, but I am just looking at 305 for the vacancies, because we did come into a slight issue last time we had a
Yeah.
vacancy. And it's just because of how the language was, so I'm just trying to refresh and I'm just skimming really quick if you don't mind.
That one didn't give you much time.
No.
Because.
And that's what it was. It was the when it fell, it was
the 90 days, and we was trying to meet the June election. and
It
we
was for
don't-
the November.
November,
It had
yeah,
happened
yeah,
right after
yeah,
June.
Dana Brown, yeah. But it only give us 2 or 3 days to get it done.
Yeah. And I think I think what had come up was the board may call a special election. Vacant less than 6, so if a seat on the board becomes vacant less than 6 months prior to the next regular election, which, when I read this, I interpret as regular election
Is June.
is June, but some people would probably think general election. But
Yeah.
when I think regular election, I think June. The board may call a special election for the balance of the term. If called, the special election must be held within 90 days, from the next scheduled selectmen's meeting following the date that the vacancy occurred. So I was in this time frame of someone resigned, they wanted to try to get it onto the general election.
Include the general election, June and November.
So, and it ended up going on the general election, it did go out to vote. But the thing is, it must be held within 90 days from the next scheduled selectmen's meeting, following the date the vacancy occurred. So for the next meeting following that vacancy, from 90 days out, I needed to have that election. So I was in this thing of when, you can't really tell someone when to resign, but you're gonna wanna resign on this date, because then this, you know,
Right, so you have a week to get another election going.
well, and that's what it is.
Well, and that's what happened was, he resigned as of
Whatever the
his,
date
I was
was.
gonna say, the June election. And we went back to him and said, hey, get us a resignation so that we got 90 days here. You really need to do it ASAP in order for us to fill your position in November.
Right.
And, well, I think I think you and I are thinking
And
of
then-
2 different scenarios, though, possibly.
I was gonna say, as I was talking, I think
Yeah.
I'm talking 2 different cases.
You are, because
Um,
we're talking about the one from not this past November, last November.
Dana Brown was one of them, and, who was the other one?
Selectman Preventer.
Paventia.
But-
Paventia is the one that put the boots to us, because he
Well,
wouldn't give us so that, so that he'd given us 90 days, but he was gonna continue on the board till June.
but
So we couldn't
because,
get it on.
but
till
because we
November.
because we did give that resignation, Natalie honored that resignation, so we were able to put it to ballot in June. It was
Okay, yeah.
actually the November one with,
Dana,
correct,
yeah.
where
I know there was some twisting.
there was a timeline of, if it's done by this time, then I need to have it done essentially by this time, if this is what you wanna do. It didn't need to be done by that time. How do I say this appropriately? If it was done by a certain date, then it would have given me the time frame to put it forward to the
Advertise.
board, they could call that election, or that special election, but it would have actually, you okay?
Yeah.
But it would have been in tandem with the general election. You okay?
Yeah, I just gotta get out, that's all.
So is there any state law or ordinance in town that the wording of being held 90 days from the next scheduled selectmen's meeting has to be there?
I think so.
Yes, because there was something in the clerk's manual when I went to refer back to that was very similar.
Okay,
But again, the clerk language was in this
there's
language
state
differed a
law.
little bit.
There's some state laws involved there that needs to meet that 90 days, but Hadley can take care of that.
right,
She's up on those
yeah, find
days
out
and
exactly
figures,
how,
yeah, what we want to word that so that it meets all state laws and
gets rid of the
meets our,
chaos,
yeah. So that it isn't very confusing, because
right.
right now we're not meeting the state laws in that charter.
Because like I said, with this one specifically, I was in a situation where I may have been having an election a couple days after another election.
Right, yeah.
You
that's-
know, and that can be.
Yeah, that's chaotic.
Yeah. I
Then
mean,
you're not
election
doing your job,
season-
you're just running elections.
Well, and the thing is election season, you know, it's no longer just a season of chaos. It's truly a year-round thing now. And it's extremely demanding, so if we could fine-tune some of this, if possible, after talking with Natalie, absolutely. Because
Right.
why create a possible issue if we can avoid it? Or a headache for anyone.
Yeah, or any issue where somebody at the state decides, oh, we're gonna pick on this town and this town and this town because we want to.
Yeah. I'll wait,
Yeah, I
obviously, to
understand.
do, okay, so we'll go back to that one then. This is another section I'll reach out to Natalie about.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll send you what I've
Perfect.
been putting them.
This is 3E.
This was the 305.
oh,
That's what we're referring to. We're gonna actually go down to this one now. I think everything else, again, as long as the annual town meeting language is taken out.
right.
So, section 304, the enumeration of powers and duties. Obviously, that had been discussed, my position specifically. I will say, after looking at some other charters, it was not taboo for the town clerk to be obviously appointed by council or board, and for them to be the hiring and firing of that specific role. Obviously, if that were to change, my day-to-day things would be addressed by town manager or town administrator, whatever we decide to go forward with that. But when push comes to shove, in regards to the hiring and firing process, it would be by the board and not by town administrator. And like Natalie said, that is really, this is not about me, this is about that position specifically and protecting whoever's in that position because of what it is and that appeals process that she refers to. And like I said, after going through some other charters, just briefly, that setup that she had discussed is not taboo. So I don't know if you'd like to just, I'll leave this open for discussion. Especially since it, even though it's referring to a position, I am currently in that position. So I'm going to be,
No, the hot seat.
yeah.
I think the town clerk should be pulled out, and I was even tax collector and treasurer, taking it off the town administrator or town manager, whatever it is, plate. I think putting them back into individual, especially the town clerk, because you have a lot you have to do, and
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to be appropriate about this. That position, not me, that position truly functions like a department head position.
Yeah.
And it should be viewed as such. And again, not me, just in general, that position and what it is responsible for and the day-to-day duties that is required of that person.
Yeah, you're like second in command of the whole town hall. And it should be your own separate position, not beholden to somebody else that can push.
And again, just from some language that I've looked elsewhere, obviously day-to-day things, like I would be of course required to have someone internally that I would report to, and that is Matt, and that is how it's somewhat structured right now.
Right.
It is, but it isn't. Currently, I mean, Matt is the manager, but I, for example, and I think a bunch of us, we do have, we do go to Laura Fish, who's HR and finance. Obviously, tax collectors, treasurers referring to finance director as their superior, I would 100% agree with that because they are subordinates to a finance department. For
Which
town
we
clerk,
really don't have.
well, and that's another thing. We have a finance director, so we've kind of established or begun to establish a finance department. So if we're in charter and we're going to be restructuring, I think the mindset of we have a finance director who's under that finance department. Does that make sense?
Yes, I get you. So instead of the town manager, it would be the finance director would be in charge of,
Well, so, I mean,
The
I think we
treasurer.
need to make a clear depiction of who's a department head. And who is, and again, we go back to, as Dwayne calls it, the tree with the limbs. That's a little convoluted right now, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion because I'm here every day and I'm in the, the interactions of it all. I think we need to have a clear management, department heads, and who are under those department heads. Because right now, it's a little, it's odd, and I'm going to be honest, and I tell Matt the same thing. It's probably no surprise to him that, it wouldn't be a surprise to him that I'm saying this. I do think that there are some structures that need some fine tuning, and I think, again, just making a clear assessment of what is a department head in town hall. Obviously, code enforcement officer is a department head. The public works director is a department head, and they are now as it is. I am not a department head. We have a finance director, but we have a deputy treasurer, and then we have a tax collector who's a deputy tax. Do you get what I'm saying?
yes.
And I would, and this is a question we can certainly ask Natalie, I think it'd be appropriate to ask her, in referencing department heads, if we've established a finance director, to me, they are a department head.
Yes.
But who is under the finance department? I would personally think, as an outsider, treasurer and tax collector and any type of, and motor, I would consider, I know like right now we have motor vehicle agent, the language is a little weird with that, but anyone working at the counters would be under finance because when it comes to taxes, things like that, that's who I would think they'd be reporting to, especially a tax collector would be reporting to the finance director. Sorry, I'm rambling a little
No,
bit. I'm trying to get my thoughts out and make it make sense.
No, it does make sense.
I mean, and obviously under code enforcement, he oversees, his administrative assistant. Public Works Department oversees his people. I think, and I don't know how you feel about this when it comes to Public Works, another big question, whether or not it's in charter, I would have to check, is transfer station. There's this question of transfer station used to be its own, and there used to be a transfer station manager, which to me would be a department head, but then it was all combined. I think the question has come out again as to whether or not should transfer station be separate from Public Works.
No.
And that is why I'm asking your
No,
opinion.
Well, the reason the previous charter did it was we could see a public works department,
Yeah,
and if it's all under one department, if we get a major snowstorm,
yeah,
or we need a driver, we can grab one of those attendants
And have
or,
them,
or transporters jump in that snowplow truck. If it's one department, it's a separate department altogether.
You can't
You
cross.
can't cross duties.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
you
they,
can.
the dump works for the public works. And in most cases, Gray, Buxton, Arundel, they all work under the public works for that reason, because they can flip-flop wages.
I will say, I know, I grew up in a very small town. Ashland in northern Maine had 1,700 people.
So a big
But
town.
but that's what they did, is they had one public works. The public works took care of anything that had to do with the water department, it took care of the transfer station, it took care of roads, it was
It was
all
all
one.
encompassing,
It was
yeah.
all one big department,
As of tonight, we own 2 trash trucks,
right.
rollbacks.
Yeah,
But that ain't saying that those 2 trucks can't have bodies put on them. And
A
if
sander,
we,
no,
if we decided to close that transfer station, we could take those 2 trucks and those men, or even our public works men, and pick up trash 3 days a week, door to door. I ain't saying we're going to.
it's
Oh,
just
no.
That
that,
possibility is there.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
trucks are sitting there, and all we need is 2 compactors put on them trucks, and we can do it. Whereas,
well, like what Hollis does now.
yeah,
and the only reason why,
Hollis has got a subcontractor that picks up their garbage, but
Right.
it can be trucked right to Portland, and we can, or if something happened down there to the transfer station and the whole place burnt down, not that it's going to, but
No.
if it did, we could go door to door in a matter of probably less than 2 weeks.
Right,
and the only reason why I brought it up is because, again, as a person, as a resident, that's something that has been
Yeah.
brought up. So that's why I was just
Well,
bringing it up for discussion. I don't know all the
we-
details like
In
you
the
do.
beginning, I think it's quieted down now, but in the beginning, the transfer manager felt that he shouldn't have a boss, he should be his own boss, and I think it's quieted down, but, and he's working closer with the public works director. But the director was supposed to be roads, dump, and all the buildings,
Yeah.
which at this point, this director that we have is doing very close to what the charter is laid out to do. He's in this office as much as he's out on the road. Yes, he's got a boss on the public works, he's got a boss at the dump, and he's got all these department heads that are reporting back to him, hey, the roof's leaking, or
Yeah.
the toilet ain't flushing, or the hot water ain't working, or I've blown a water line at the library. But, it's all working, and he's overseeing getting all of that stuff done.
Yep.
It's quite a job, believe me, and the more
Oh, yeah.
we grow, the bigger it's gonna get.
Well-
And it's gonna be a desk job eventually, but,
And I think, and I know I said it, like, we need to obviously focus on now, but we don't want to I personally feel like I didn't want to confine charter either. Would it be appropriate to think of a deputy public works director?
hey, what?
A deputy public works director?
That doesn't need to be in the charter, because, that can be created from the town administrator or town manager and the public works. Yes, we need another personnel,
Yep.
and this is what I want him to do.
Okay.
You have a deputy public works director at this point, and he's being paid to be that. Whether he's doing the job or not is another question, I ain't getting into.
Oh, I apologize, I didn't realize
But-
we had a deputy.
There is a man underneath,
Under Jason, okay.
under Jason.
And I apologize, my
No.
naivety, I didn't
No,
realize we
there is-
already had one.
No, there's one there.
Okay,
He does not like the dump. He doesn't like buildings, but he is.
so I just wanna say, I do apologize, I didn't realize we had
And
a
if
deputy.
for some reason this fellow retires or gets done, a new fellow could be hired to replace him and probably would run a lot smoother.
So, I guess just referring back to powers and duties, we might as well just, while we're on it, just lay it out. You have your, have we gone over tonight, town administrator / town manager?
No, we haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that yet. So I guess I'd be jumping forward by saying, obviously, your person at the top would be town managers and/or town admin,
And if he's town admin,
as of now.
as of now, you could pull out anyways and keep it.
Yeah, that could be changed.
But getting back to
So what you were saying.
treasurer and tax collector,
So,
do like a finance,
well, I would think, I mean, you guys, please, like, feel comfortable saying how you feel.
oh,
I,
okay, you don't have that problem with me.
what was that? Yeah. But, I mean,
Sometimes I put my mouth in motion before I put my brain in gear.
and the
How
only
many years
reason,
you got here?
the only reason why I mention that is because, and this is just, by stating someone is a finance director, you are interpreting there is a finance department.
Right,
Yes, I agree with you.
right.
But when you have a finance director, do you have a treasurer?
Well, and that was, so here's my.
It's a finance
so-
director,
so-
usually a finance director's kind of the
So,
treasurer.
this
Right,
was,
it's all one job.
I'm
It's all
going
one
to
job.
say this now.
Right.
And you can, anyone can certainly ask Matt, when they were posting the deputy treasurer position, I said to Matt, should this be worded as deputy finance director? You have a finance director, you have established that. This should be worded as deputy finance director. And I was told, he'll laugh at me, I'm gonna tell him this tomorrow, it's just semantics,
No.
but it isn't.
No, it
No.
isn't.
It's not in that scenario, because you've established a finance director.
Right, because when you come to an independent auditor, that's when they're gonna put the feet to the fire and say, well, what's the two duties
Well,
between the two?
so now you have a finance director and a deputy treasurer. If
Right.
anything, I know for some people it's just wording, but it isn't.
No, it's not.
And not with
No.
that, and not in that department, and that's, again, that's my opinion, we can certainly reach out to Natalie, because I'll just send one email so I can try to save some money, but that was something I meant to ask when it was brought up, and it slipped my mind, and I apologize, but where we've established a finance director, I felt when the posting before it went out should have been a deputy finance director position, because that's to me what it is. And where you are now having a finance director, you would assume that the person in second in command would be a deputy finance director.
Right.
What are
But
your,
was she hired as a finance director, or was she hired?
I don't know what her contract
Well,
is.
What I saw on the website,
Says HR
No,
director
H-
/ finance
HR.
director.
is the deputy treasurer. That's what the.
That's kind of what, you can't be both.
So,
You can't be a finance director and a deputy
Yeah, I was
treasurer.
going to say, that's why I questioned that. I don't think there was any finance director ever
There wasn't.
involved in the advertising or in her,
I don't know what the posting
Yeah.
was, but that is what they refer to her now. I mean, it's on her door. HR / finance director, when you go
I
online,
thought
it
that was
says
how, it
HR.
was so high, it was advertised as a finance director, HR.
It was. So, and again, it's just, if we're doing this, it all needs to make sense, because right now, I feel like it doesn't make sense. I mean, the job itself is still there, but let's make it sound like, just make it what it is. If you have a finance director, I would say anyone in finance you would assume would be under them, and again, the treasurer, do you call it deputy treasurer, or is it a deputy finance director? Again, I can certainly talk to Natalie on her opinion on
And the same
that.
thing with tax collector.
Right.
Because usually your finance department takes care of treasurer and tax collecting, because that's where,
The money's coming
Money
in.
That's the
comes through.
revenue, it has to do with revenue and expenditure.
And you know, and Nancy and I had the conversation, because it's no surprise that Nancy is retiring in 8 years out front, and she's technically the motor vehicle agent. And you know, there's been that discussion of, well, who will take over a motor vehicle agent? And I said, no offense, Nancy, it's different now, but most places you go to, your tax collector is your motor vehicle agent. Whether or not they're doing the work, or another clerk who is not as busy is doing the day-to-day processes of the reports, typically your tax collector is your motor vehicle agent. So I know that question had come up with her retiring. I personally feel like if someone's doing the work, call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. If they're a tax collector, make them a tax collector. And they can have a deputy. Another clerk could be, whoever else is out there waiting on customers, they can certainly be a deputy. There's nothing that says that can't happen. But, I mean, Heidi's doing the tax collector work. She's a tax collector. Why make something a little harder for her? Like, whatever it may be, if she's doing the work. I mean, I know my role, that role, the clerk role specifically, has a lot more involved in, bumps in the road when it comes to doing the job. I don't necessarily know if what she deals with on her end. We can certainly request to meet with other people. I don't know if you feel like that's necessary, just to hear input. But, I mean, again, I think I've beaten the horse. It's dead.
yeah.
If we have a finance director.
I just can't, finance director's usually a treasurer in that case. I can't see having a finance director and a deputy treasurer, because that's like, wear two hats for the same job. If you have a deputy treasurer now, that one could be deputy finance director, or however they, what did they do in Benefit?
So in Biddeford, you have a finance director or a chief financial officer. They're trying to be all suave with their, language now. But you have a finance director, then you have your deputy finance director,
So
who's
you're saying to
typically
do
your
that.
staff accountant.
Yep.
And then you have under finance, the chain of command is finance director, deputy finance director. You have there's so much more there because it's so big. But your tax collector and deputy tax collector would also fall under finance department as well. And I think that's how most places are structured. I worked at Saco and it was the same way. Right now, clerk and finance are intermingled, and that's how it was in Biddeford. In Saco, we were completely separate. In Saco, you had a separate finance department and a separate clerk's office. The whole finance department, which was people doing motor vehicle and taking payments, not doing anything clerk related, fell under the deputy finance director and the deputy and the finance director. So when I was in Saco, my superior was, my initial manager would have been the tax collector. Her name was Denise. I reported to her. The upper was Cheryl, the finance director. In Biddeford, where it was a combined clerical and finance department, my person to go to was the city clerk. Because we did so many clerk-related things, she kind of oversaw. And then we also had an office manager who kind of handled the little baloney here and there, because the big honcho, you don't really have time for that, that's when when things need to be taken further, that's where it would go to. And again, those department heads were they would initially, they report the town management, or, city manager, town manager, but those initial department heads are technically hired and fired by whatever charter says. So finance director is hired by, town manager, it would state that their city clerk reported to city manager. However, just like Natalie said, because of the position and what it is, the hiring and firing process is done by this council or board, whatever this ends up being.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense than to do if you got the finance director, you might as well turn it into a department. I mean, you kinda
I
like,
don't wanna see the selectmen overseeing these three jobs.
no.
I wanna see the town manager overseeing that, and if there's a problem as far as hiring and firing,
Then
then it comes to
And-
the, I don't have a problem there.
And that's what she said, I think.
But the day-to-day services go through the town manager.
Right.
Because the selectmen are only here for 2 hours every 2 weeks. Not that they ain't, I mean,
You see,
Phone
that,
conversation.
that's
And
where,
that's-
if
and
you
that's-
have a set director of finance and say a set director for your public work, then when it comes to your town manager, he deals with one person.
Exactly.
He's not coming in and say, okay, I gotta talk to you about this problem, then I gotta talk to you about, no, you got one person that oversees it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kinda, to me, simplifies the manager's job.
And I think that's what Natalie was getting at, but again, when it comes to the appeal process of that specific position and hiring and firing, that's where she suggested that drastic change happen.
Right.
But I mean, right now, the only thing that would be different is I wouldn't be reporting to Laura Fish, I'd be reporting to Matt. That would be the change, which, I mean, I don't
But
think
in-
that's an inappropriate change, and that's, again, my
Well,
opinion.
In a way, your job, what your job consists of, you should be going to Matt, because your direct duties as a town clerk is one step down from his. And if he's unavailable, then of course they go right to the town clerk, and it's the town clerk's duty now to do his job of where he's, sick or whatever else. But, yeah, you should be your own. I could see the HR, the human resources, is dealing with everybody else. It's dealing with your employees down at your transfer station. It's dealing with your employees
And
at
that's a
your
full-time
your
job in
public-
and of itself.
Public Works, right.
But
when it comes
and this
to-
is where this tree comes.
Yep.
That was the design of the tree. The employee at the dump, and I'll use the dump because it's a tree.
Right.
The employees go to the manager. The manager goes to the public works, and the public works comes to the town manager. And this is the way it was supposed to work. The guy at the dump, don't run right up here and see Matt.
No.
And I can't get 40 hours, or I can't get my 36, or somebody threw a dirty diaper and I don't like it. Those problems go to the man that's actually
Right.
overseeing
And that's how
the
it should
foreman at the dump. And then if he's got a problem with the employee, he goes to the public works director. And if it's a
So the
major
human
problem.
resources now, because I never remembered a human resources being in town. But now, what would does that position deal with as far as the employees, or does she deal with the appointed board and committee
So,
members? or-
It might be the easiest thing to do if we ask for the job descriptions.
well, I think even job descriptions should be updated with certain
Yeah.
things, but that's a whole other ballgame that
So
we're
at
not
least we
involved
can
in.
understand,
Right.
And I
because-
don't know, like,
Realistically, once we get through this charter, somebody needs to look at those job descriptions.
Absolutely.
Because
Well,
that
right.
should be part of the charter.
I agree.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
do not disagree with
It should be
that.
a bottom page in this charter.
Yep.
I
But,
agree.
And somewhere along the line, I think Laura has started doing some of this, but not all of it. And you need to start rate, I use the dump transfer station, excuse me.
Right.
But you start right at the man that's sweeping the dooryard, and then you go up to the manager and lay out. You gotta be very careful. Because
because,
if you
I mean,
forget one of
what-
if you forget one of the brooms, they're gonna read it. I don't have to do that because
Yeah.
I'm over here and I'm not here. And you gotta include all those duties right up through.
Right.
And-
Because,
'Cause I can
and
also
the
see a
public
human
works is the same way.
resources person having to deal with anybody that's got a problem. Well, I'm not gonna talk to you
Well-
because I got a problem with you, I'm going to
And I
her.
think right now, and I'm just speaking internally, like from just how people feel is, a lot of us have to report to someone who's technically the HR director. And that's just because of what the language is and how they've made that role.
Right.
So, there's the question of reporting to HR as management. Does that make sense? I think there's this question of why are we reporting to HR? Because if something comes up, that's HR. I think department heads should be reporting to the administrator / town manager, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. I think if you're a department head, you shouldn't be going to HR with an issue, unless obviously it comes to that after meeting with the manager or the town administrator. Department head should be going to town administrator with these huge, with certain things. And whether, how it gets mitigated after that point. And if HR gets involved, then of course, absolutely. But that's my.
HR should be the last stop.
Well,
To
exactly.
a point, if it's a payroll problem, you go to HR.
Yep,
First,
absolutely.
not the treasurer, because if the treasurer made the mistake, you want HR to know it before it gets too far, and she
Yeah.
can investigate whether it is or ain't, and come back to you and say, no, you was paid for your 36 hours, or you was paid, for your vacation pay, and this is what I found, but,
Well, that's what I've always known human resources to be.
yeah.
When I would hire somebody, after wage structures went down, I was doing, anybody that was working for me, it's like, well, who do I talk to about this? Me. Well, what about this? Me.
Yeah.
What about this? Me. You work for me.
It would be a better flow if they would just, because it could be
Well, you
something
combine
small. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be something
And this
really,
is how,
and it could be handled at the department head.
At the department head level,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, yep.
Absolutely. I agree with all of you.
Right.
So I guess the question is, since we've talked, if you guys want to go forward with it, who should be the clear department heads under the upper management, admin / manager, whatever that decides to be? I mean, obviously you have your assessor.
I'm gonna make a motion that you come up with your questions, and everybody take it home, because it's now 8:02, and we will come up with some ideas so that everybody can take it home and think about this, because you're getting into a big balloon that can't be settled tonight.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so if you
So-
come up with your idea,
Yeah.
email us a document.
Well, if everyone has an
I'm gonna say, if
idea.
anybody's got any ideas, lay it out right now on the table, and by 8:15, we can
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn, yeah.
Okay, Nancy, what are your ideas?
I agree that we should have department heads and the department should be defined,
Yep.
especially finance, because I don't see how you can have a finance director who's also a deputy treasurer. That doesn't make sense.
If you have a finance director, you should have a deputy finance director.
Yes.
And the question would be, who falls under the finance department? I would
So, the deputy treasurer and probably the deputy, and tax collector. I don't know if they would be deputy, probably tax collector. Just,
But you would have a tax.
so unless you want to make it finance and tax collecting,
If you're gonna pull these three positions out, somebody needs to be,
if the finance director will take care of the treasurer.
Yeah.
So, it would be deputy.
are they still gonna be a deputy treasurer, or are they gonna be the treasurer?
No treasurer with finance director.
Okay,
Yeah. That's how I interpret it
Yeah.
as when,
Yeah, because I just pulled up some different other towns and
Yeah.
cities and stuff, and they don't have a treasurer. It's
Okay.
finance director.
Yeah.
And then deputy finance director.
yeah.
finance.
Some of them
director.
include tax collecting in it, so I guess that would be where you would plug in
Now,
the deputy tax
okay.
collector.
Here's a question for you. We probably ain't got an answer to that. Town clerk, treasurer, all got duties, all got, courses that they have to take and certifications that they gotta meet.
Treasurer
Now,
does too.
Yes, but as an assistant treasurer or a deputy, can they become state certified as the
Yes,
treasurer?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can take
Okay.
those classes.
That, because that was a big to-do here a while back when we took this charter on and the duties fell into the town administrator.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. So that's your suggestion?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, I'm gonna put your name, Nancy. Do you have a suggestion, or is it similar?
No, that's similar. Just define it. Define the
Yeah.
heads of the department and settle accordingly.
Mr. Ross, do you have anything?
Not at this point,
Okay.
just listening.
And again, I'm treading water just because I'm in a specific role right now. I do agree, as I've said, if you have a finance director, there should be if it's finance director, make it deputy finance director. Anything finance related, tax collector, deputy tax collector, I would encompass customer service, would report to, finance director. And I'm in agreement to make these department heads define what department has a department head and what they are and who's under it. So, code enforcement officer's department head, obviously, administrative assistant would be under him, public works director's department head, any of his people would be under him. Librarian is considered a department head. Obviously, that's not going to change. I'm trying to think, can you think of anything else that's department head around here?
Fire department.
Well, yeah, fire department.
He's got a whole different tree that he's working under.
Yeah.
But, chief, assistant chief, deputies, on-call deputies,
Yeah, his is a whole different
Yeah, I was gonna
ballgame.
say, you'd have to pull his tree up to, or Laura could pull it up.
Excuse me.
Really, assessor is their own. Assistant assessor would be obviously under them. The really big change is that town clerk position. And again, the finance, if we're looking at it as a department, making those little changes to just kind of make it more fluid, in my opinion.
Now, something else that, I mean, we'll get to it, but, you've got a finance committee, you've got planning board, you've got zoning board, and some of these other boards should be thrown under the selectmen's duties. That you shouldn't list all them boards, because.
No, I think we had.
Yeah, we know, I think that they
Yeah.
said just,
The conservation hasn't, we ain't had
Yeah.
a member on it for 4 or 5 years, and do we need it, or?
the transfer station, take that one out. Your
It
recycling.
could, yeah, take it out so that if the board of selectmen or
Need to
the town
yeah.
administrator thinks that it's time to refire it, we can do it, or he can do it,
Yeah.
or whatever. And the same thing with some of these other committees. You need fair hearing board, and you need a tax assessors board or something by state law, but only put in just a handful of those committees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it very,
The ones that need to be there, like she said, have to be there.
And
then-
those are the ones that are compensated through the town's tax dollar.
Yep. So what I can do is, I know Nancy's been taking notes, we can make the little tree of everyone's suggestion and review that for next meeting, so that way it's ready. And then, if you guys are okay with it, when she emails me the agenda, her and I can go back and forth on if there's something that should be under a specific department. Again, it can just be presented, and then
Right.
we'll either agree to agree or agree to disagree.
Start at
Right, so
6
that's what we can
and
put
down
on the
through.
agenda
Yeah.
for January 9th, that we can hash this out.
Yep. And I think this may be something that may take a whole meeting.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
So
I
I
think it
wouldn't
will.
put
I
more
think it
on
will.
the agenda.
definitely.
I think that it's going to.
Yeah,
Because now, Dwayne, this tree you guys made up, this
Yeah.
was, is this how it is now, or what you were looking at wanting? Or more or less?
That is pretty close to what, now, you've got an HR person that has been added to that tree.
Okay,
Because
But
it
this could
wasn't
be a
in there
blueprint that we
10
could
years
go off.
ago, but it's very close. I think, I haven't looked at that tree in 5 years, but
Okay.
I think that is very close to what's going on here.
right, so it would be good that we could, like, add, okay, instead of
Yeah.
this, and,
Yeah.
use this
Yeah.
to,
As a
as a
template.
blueprint.
I mean, you
template
can
to-
use that and fill it in, and
Yep, sounds good.
then you're gonna have another whole limb out there with HR, and then your clerk and your treasurer and whatnot coming off that limb, and still going up to the town administrator or
Right, yeah,
manager.
town administrator, town clerk, tax collector,
Yeah.
treasurer, general assistant.
Yeah,
So going over this, as long as my wife don't have me locked up for talking to myself. Well, me, myself, and I can have some pretty good conversations.
I think everyone's like
Oh,
that.
I do that, my daughter will tell me. You're in a cell.
I do it at midnight so nobody can hear me.
I win every battle, though, I win every argument.
Well, it's pretty cute watching my dog sitting there going,
Staring at you.
cocking her head like, are you talking to me? It's like, no, Lola, go lay down.
All right, so we know we're going to discuss next meeting.
Okay,
Department heads.
Department heads.
yep.
Perfect.
I make
Go
a
back to
mo-
the front of this.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of November
Oh.
28th.
Yes, thank
So
you.
moved.
Sorry.
Then I'll make a motion that we accept Frank Allen's resignation. to
Well,
the
let's
board.
vote on that one.
Yeah, we need to vote. So all in favor, unanimous.
My motion is to accept Frank Allen's resignation to the board.
Anyone second?
Second.
Okay, Steve Ross second. All in favor? Unanimous.
Now, the board has the right to advertise and appoint Frank's position, Debbie's position. Debbie never got sworn in, so she is not a actual member, but
Right.
position is still open. And those need to be residents of the town of Waterboro. We made an appointment, we appointed Mr. Gilpatrick, which was an illegal vote.
Right.
So that one still sits on the table, because they can only appoint one out-of-towner, and it's gotta be somebody, replacing somebody
With the
that
selectmen,
was
right.
actually
With the
appointed
selectmen
and not
appointed.
elected. Hope I said that all right.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Did very good. I understood.
So, we have two openings here on the board that we can advertise.
And I had sent, again, by the time I got to my email and I was sending stuff out today, I apologize. Obviously, I was out last week, and I had a very busy day today, just keeping up with who was coming in, on top of everything else. So, when you get the chance, you'll see in the email, I didn't post anything on behalf of the charter for the initial position because this was coming up, and I figured I would just do it in tandem with one another.
I don't think the reporter will be out next week.
Because
No,
of the
won't
holiday.
So,
now.
I mean, if we run this ad for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
deadline would be, our meeting
Second
Second.
meeting in January.
January,
yeah.
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 Deadline would be, and if we don't get any applications, we'll just move forward with what we've got for members. We can get by, so, we just continue to go the way we're going.
Yeah.
and I'll make sure,
We can advertise on the internet.
yeah,
And whatnot,
I'll
and
do
the two
the-
signs out here, but,
and that's what I'll do. I'll do the same thing I did for the public hearing. It'll be run in the reporter twice. I'll have it on our website. I'll have it on Facebook, which when we do it on Facebook, it also gets shared to what's up in Waterboro. I'll have Angela do a Text My Gov, which she did for the public hearing as well, to let that, she did it to all groups, so everyone received it. And I'll make sure it's on the electrical sign as well at the fire department.
Good.
All right.
and I'm pushing the gun, but the way we're moving forward, and we gotta have a public hearing and whatnot, but I think that we can meet the June election as far as getting this voted on. I don't think we're gonna have to,
Yeah, but you gotta have a certain percentage of the voters to pass it, right? And you probably won't get that in June. You'll have.
Well, June, we're gonna have
Cer-
state, well, in June, we're having state primary.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you may
it's a
get,
certain percentage of of the
Yeah.
people, isn't it, that voted in the last gubernatorial?
Gubernatorial, yeah,
You think you're gonna get them in June?
which was around 3,000.
You think you get that in June?
Well, I guess they are projecting a slow March. I don't know, I never try to project because you're always wrong. The state's office, in some previous conversations a couple months ago that I had with someone from there, they were projecting not this significant turnout for March, but they were expecting a significant turnout for the primaries in June. But again, if you don't meet that percentage, then it has to just go on the November one anyways.
If you don't, wow, does it, or is it a done deal, cause you could?
I guess that would be a question for Natalie.
Yeah, because
And I guess
you
you
put it
could-
out there and they say no.
yeah.
And I guess you could err,
You can start again.
so what I can do for next meeting is I'll look back statistically at what our state primary turnout
Yeah.
was. And if we are at that time frame where it could be on the June election, if people are comfortable with that, what those percentages are for turnouts.
I can't remember also, I thought there was a certain percentage, but then it has to be something between the,
I think it has to be the year out from
you
it
only
being
have to be
established.
15% of the last gubernatorial.
yeah, but then there's something to do about the percentage. I thought there was something about the percentage,
There is
percentage,
somewhere in
how
there,
much it
yeah.
has to be passed by.
Yeah,
Oh, Yeah, no, I haven't
60%.
checked.
Or something, yeah, six,
I
yeah.
can see, I haven't checked yet. For March, you have to be registered to a party.
So,
As far as I didn't check on how, I know
So,
Maine
here,
changed, went to a primary.
it used, okay, so I'm gonna read this to you guys. Yes, you have to be registered
Right,
in it. And on election day, if you were unenrolled, you could enroll up to election day. There's been this new thing specifically with absentee requests, where someone who's unenrolled requests a Republican ballot, for example, that they would be now enrolling themselves into the Republican Party, rather than them coming in and making that change. So it's,
okay, yeah.
again,
that's-
more work, but
Right,
yes,
yeah.
it's always, yes, you have to be getting that
Well,
ballot, you
I
have
know
to be enrolled in that
Some
party.
states have open. they
Do we
have-
motion to adjourn?
I will make that motion if you want it.
Oh, yes, please.
Second.
Second by
Uh,